How do Iowans use AI? We found some really interesting answers to that question in the only market research that I'm aware of that's ever been done on Iowans' behaviors and habits when it comes to the use of AI platforms. So this is something we decided to do because we're a digital marketing agency, and it's really important for us to get inside the heads of our clients, of the target audiences out there, and understand how we can reach them and make it the most impact with them. So here are some of the things we found, which we thought were very interesting. And especially if you're in marketing or if you have your own business, this might be helpful to you if you're trying to reach Iowans. And if you're interested in this whole study, you can check out the link in the description. So what percentage of adult Iowans use AI? So we found that 81% of Iowans are using at least occasionally one AI platform or more, which is a pretty high percentage if you think about it. And then 69% frequently, in other words, daily or weekly, are using AI overall. And that's actually higher than the national average. The national average is around 60%, according to Brookings. So that's really interesting. Iowans are definitely getting into AI. You know, a lot of people think of Iowa as like a very rural state and the farmland and ag and things like that. And that's certainly true. But there's a big tech scene in Iowa as well, especially in the Des Moines area. And most Iowans have at least heard of AI platforms or somewhat familiar with them. As you can see here, only 7% are not familiar at all with platforms like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot. So how do Iowans actually use AI platforms? So we found that the number one thing Iowans do when it comes to generative AI is using it to search for information and answers. Writing or editing content is second, and then brainstorming ideas. There's also shopping for a product or doing research, but for the most part, searching for information or answers is what Iowans are doing it for. So if you're looking to reach Iowans with your marketing, it makes a lot of sense to invest in generative engine optimization to try to get your website content, your content on various platforms to appear in platforms like ChatGPT and Claude. And that's one of the things we spend a lot of time doing for our clients these days. Okay, so what tool is Iowans' preferred platform? Well, far and away, it's ChatGPT. You can see here 35% of users choose ChatGPT. Gemini is second with 25%. What's interesting is Claude is only 2%, which surprised me. You know, nationally, Claude is about 12%, so that's quite a bit lower. What about trust in AI? How do people in Iowa feel when it comes to trusting the information they find in AI? Well, you can see here that overall, Iowans have a fairly positive view of AI. 45% overall have a somewhat positive or very positive view of AI, whereas a neutral view is about 27%, and then negative adds up to about 28%. So we also asked about people's adoption rate. You know, are you going to use more AI, less AI? You want to scale it back? Do you want to get more into it? Is it going to be neutral? And as you can see here, for the most part, Iowans said, hey, I'm going to use a little more AI in the future. A few people weren't sure. Very small percentage said they would decrease. So Iowans are using quite a bit of AI, and they'll probably use more. So what's the big takeaway here? You know, when it comes down to it, it's really important for your brand, if you're trying to reach Iowans, to invest in, again, Generative Engine Optimization, GEO. And that's also called AEO sometimes. And it's kind of like SEO, but basically it's, you know, how can you get that content on your website to appear from more prompts in platforms like ChatGPT? And the building blocks, the basics of it are very similar to SEO. Have a fast loading website, have clean code, have really good, well-written content that appeals to your target audience, that sort of thing. But there's a number of other things that you can do as well, like have really solid schema markup and have your website structured in an appropriate way, and also getting mentions from third parties and things like that. So if you're interested in getting a hand with this sort of thing, reach out and let us know. Again, here at Blue Compass, we're a digital marketing agency. We're really great at SEO. We've done it for years, but we're really focusing on GEO now for many of our clients. We use really awesome tools, including this one here you can see, where we can tell, okay, how is your brand appearing compared to your competitors when it comes to prompts that really matter. If you can get more mentions and appearances for valuable prompts from your target audiences and generative AI platforms. It's great for your brand. You can actually get website traffic and visits from things like Google AI Mode and ChatGPT. And we're finding that traffic from generative AI platforms to your website, while a smaller amount than a more traditional Google search, it's really high quality traffic. In other words, people stay for a while, they're more likely to go to more pages, and they're more likely to convert. There's a lot of studies out there that say, people are a lot more likely to convert on your website when they come from a generative AI platform. You can see right here was a Microsoft study that showed that, and some other studies as well. So think about, how can I make my content more valuable? How can I get more mentions out there from valid third parties? And that's something we can help you do. So if you're interested, reach out to us. We can give you an audit of your website to see how well you're doing. We can look up all of this information for you and give you a roadmap moving forward. Thanks. I'll talk to you next time.